Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
If 2020 has taught us anything, it's to take nothing for granted. So when you expect hot water and get cold, when you expect the shower to drain and it doesn't, when you turn the furnace on and it won't start, stop freaking and call Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical. 1-800-FREAKIN'.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. I don't know why, but there's an old clip that's resurfaced, and people are spreading it virally, and it's a classic.
Okay.
And that's, you know what, I think it's a good way to start the day. It's I don't know if you guys remember this a while back in the People's Court. There was a guy that accused D's nuts of hitting someone.
D's nuts.
And it is it's a classic piece, and people are saying, you know what, let's give this a play again, and I'm loving it.
It's good to see you alive. Yes. I don't know. Maybe this guy was on something. Maybe D hit him. Who knows?
He was calling you the suspect in the court.
You see? I don't know. Like I said, D hit him, so it wasn't me. Maybe.
What's D?
D's nuts. This guy's crazy.
D what?
D's nuts. Harvey?
That guy is a genius.
Slick.
I love the way he just worked that in there.
Yeah.
It was like the post-court chat. I can't remember that guy's name, but he was like getting popular.
Oh, Doug Llewellyn back
yeah.
in the day.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Yes. Blast from the past.
Yeah.
How'd you remember that name?
You know what? Rev, this is the problem. There are things that I forget that are important in my life, and then there's a spot in my brain for Doug Llewellyn.
Fair enough.
Dude, that was one of the coolest things was getting to go to a taping for the People's Court. It was like the most I was just like, I can't believe I'm sitting in such a historic room. And then you realize just what a pile that room was. It was like just barely, I mean, dude, there was like duct tape holding parts of that set together. Like if they do a great job of making it look nice on television, but when you're there up close and personal and you see it, you're like, man, we're one sneeze away from that wall falling down. It was awesome, though.
Oh, man.
And they sit you in that room for hours, though. It's fun for like the first hour, and then you realize, oh my gosh, like we're doing an entire season's worth of tapings. Like they tape so many of them, and they just bank them up. Like I think we were there for 5, maybe 5.5 hours.
Wow.
And after a while, you're just like, okay, I'm done. They all they give you for food at the People's Court is like the little Halloween candies.
Ooh, nice.
Like those chocolates.
Yeah.
And then I call them the lifers because there's people in that in like the back in the audience that seem like they never leave that room. And they just take handfuls. So by the time you get it, like you get like the crap end of the deal of the candy. You're like, you son of a bitch, you took 5 crackles.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best one.
I'm going to take you to court. If only there was a place to do this.
Oh, man. So they give the lifers the first choice. That ain't right.
No, they just hand the basket out, and like there are people who know, so they kind of go right for it. And then there are the idiots like me that are just like, well, of course we're going to all of us are going to get an equal amount of chocolate. No.
No, you don't. Oh, man.
I was there for the D's Nuts guy, though. That guy is awesome.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was very, very brilliant. And I imagine it had to be a bet.
How much money do you think he got for that?
Oh, man. I guess $50. You know what? Is that a $50 bet if you tell your buddies you're going on TV and you go, hey, dude, $50, I'll say D's Nuts on TV.
I feel like he might have done it for free and just on a dare.
Yeah.
I bet you won't do it.
It's the kind of guy that would do that for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, must have been D that did it. And finally, the judge. Who the hell is D?
And the best part about the clip was like the guy, Doug Llewellyn, as you remember. Yeah. It didn't seem like he picked up on it. He goes, D's what? And he's like, D's Nuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's like so.
okay.
So Doug obviously wasn't paying attention to the show. He was just like, I don't know, or maybe he was like, I don't remember a D.
Or he's just like, I don't care. Say all the nuts you want.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's getting rid of me. I'm Doug Llewellyn. BJ Shea knows who I am.
That's right. He's the only one, but he does. Oh my God! Why do I have that guy's name in my head?
Dude, I remember like cast members from like random sitcoms as well, and whenever I bring them up, you guys look at me like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. And I don't know where Arkansas is on the map. But I know, like, who played, like, the cousin Oliver and, like, on the Brady Bunch.
Well,
like,
Small Wonder, right?
Small Wonder, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing with the Brady Bunch. At least that was a show. Small Wonder.
Small Wonder was the show.
Yeah, don't be disparaging Small Wonder.
Oh, that's what I forgot. Yeah,
there's two of us here, buddy.
With Vicky the Robot.
Yeah.
Vicky should be down with that show.
Because it's your name.
It's your
Vicky
name.
the Robot.
They spell it incorrectly.
Yeah, but how many other Vickies are there on television?
There's Vicky from The Fairly Odd Parents.
What the hell is that?
Point.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
You asked.
that?
It's your fault.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think someone just stepped into a giant generation gap. What the hell's that? Get out of here!
We're talking about relevant shows like Small Wonder, you idiot.
Tater Tot's got a great life ahead of her. Your daughter has just got a great life. What the hell's that? Get out of here!
What was the show called?
The Fairly Odd Parents.
Which that's not even on anymore, is it?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I think it's still on syndication.
Yeah, it's a relatively old show considering, but for Steve, he totally missed it.
What's that?
What the hell is that? That started in 2001? Dude, why are you talking about old shows like this?
Yeah. Let's get back to Small Wonder, the classic.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Everything is better electrified. Like the guitar, toothbrushes, or cars. And Hyundai has the widest range of electrified vehicles on the market, including the first ever Tucson and Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. You can use electric when you want it or gas when you need it. It's your journey. Evolve it beyond the pump in the 2022 Tucson or Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. Visit your nearest Hyundai dealer or learn more at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. They were talking to a bunch of people, and they said, hey, what makes you the most nervous behind the wheel?
Oh, Final Destination log truck.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. And I was, in our area, there are log trucks on the road.
I feel like at least like once every month, at least once a month, I'm behind one of them, and it's just like, you got to be kidding me.
It's scary, dude.
And if you're Steve, at that point, metal bars coming at your head instead of a log one. Remember?
Right.
Thankfully, Miggs was okay.
Thank you, Steve Rabel.
Yeah. Yeah, I did forget about that, dude. That's a concern, stuff flying off the freeway and hitting you in the windshield.
Oh, dude, every once in a while, still now to this day, if it's even like a random bag or a leaf, I see it coming for a half a second, I do flinch just because of what happened.
Oh, sure.
But then I'm like, oh, it's a stupid leaf. I'm fine.
Thankfully, Miggs was okay.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you.
Yeah. See, Steve Rabel, he cares about you, buddy.
He does. He cares about the Seahawks and Steve Miggs.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Holy catfish is, I think, what he said when he heard the story.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, thankfully, so, all right. So for you, Steve, it's the Final Destination truck. Anybody else? What's your worst fear of driving?
Not so much fear, but it does heighten everything else. It's when you're in the car and you have a screaming kid in the back seat. Because then everything else, like you can't focus. It's like, oh, crap. Whether it's raining a little bit, everything is just amplified.
Need to get home quickly.
It's like, I need to get home. I need to pull over, freaking out. It's like I can't attend to them. Like I can't give them food or whatever it is they want. And it makes everything so much more stressful. So for you,
it's a child. A child is stressful.
Having a kid in the backseat, that's crazy.
Wow, that is, that's fascinating because I would think that would be on this list. Wasn't in the top 10. And I think there's validity to that, Vicky. A screaming child is just like, oh my God, I hate this whole trip right now.
You know what the other one kind of gets me a little stressed out is when I have to go, I always call it threading the needle, when you're stuck between like there's two semis on each side of you.
Oh, yeah.
Or a big box truck or something. And especially when every once in a while, and I mean, I know it happens to everyone, but it feels more amplified when it's a semi, when like they drift a little bit and they start riding those little turtle shells and you're just like, oh boy. because that's also how like my grandfather passed away. Was he got sideswiped by a semi when he was going past one. Yeah, so it's just like that's. And then when you have two of them on each side, you're just like, thread the needle, gotta go.
And God forbid there's another semi in front of you or just a slow driver, and it's like, come on, let me move.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, damn, dude. I'm sure you told us, but I think I didn't.
Yeah.
I forgot about your grandfather passing away that way. Man, that would.
On my dad's side, not the one that I was super close with, but still, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
they
still
didn't talk to
somebody.
us for several years, but I mean, obviously you don't want the reason why you never get to talk again is because of a tragic accident like that.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that would make me think about it as I'm on the road. By the way, number 6 on the list, Steve, is having to drive between two, vehicles, getting passed by a big truck, stuff like that. Yeah, the number 6.
The only time that I think that I've been super stressed recently, in like recent years, was when we had that really big snowstorm.
Mm-hmm. Number 1, Danny.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And I had to drive from West Seattle to downtown because we were going to stay in hotels so that way we could make sure to be here. And I left at the worst possible time, and it was just blizzard status on the West Seattle Bridge. I couldn't see the lines. Yeah. I was driving at the time. I had my girlfriend's car, and I swear I don't know how I made it to the city without wrecking.
Like white knuckling it the whole time.
Yeah, and it was like that's the only time that my heart was going, and I was like, never again. And I got a truck after that.
See, I don't mind like driving in the snow. Thankfully, having 4-wheel drive. I mean, not that and also just growing up and like you just kind of know like you have to take it easy when you're driving in the snow. What freaks me out is the other drivers because there's some people that just get way too aggressive when it's snowing pretty fierce, and you're just like, I get it. You're in a rush to go to somewhere when you really aren't in a rush. You're just a fast driver. It's like, but there's too many variables when there's snow out there.
Yeah, because that's the thing is you're like, dude, I can control myself, but I can't control you. I mean, if you come sliding into me, there's no amount of snow tires and 4-wheel drive that can prevent that. I cannot prevent you being an idiot.
Oh, Texter has a good point. I thought the Target parking lot was the most stressful for Steve. You're right.
Oh, good call. Yeah, forgot about that.
Just talking about it gives me like the anxiety. Yeah. Thanks, Texter.
Well, I'm trying to see actually, you know what? A parallel parking is the only one on the list when it comes to any kind of parking at all that gives people trouble while being behind the wheel.
To me, and it had to happen just this past weekend when we went to the Point Defiance Zoo. Trying to find a parking spot when a bunch of other people are also trying to find a parking spot. So it's not like as if when you're trying to parallel park, you're just driving the streets. And more often than not, you're not in a game, a race against somebody else to get that spot. Whereas when you're in a parking lot and everybody's acting like a vulture and just circling and circling. And it's just like, oh. And it always seems to be the car in front of me gets the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Oh, do I really don't like that. I mean, I don't know why businesses are allowed to open in places where they don't have enough parking. I just shake my head at that and go, I mean, you're a business. This is zoned for business. They know that you are a business that have people come to you, and yet they don't give you enough parking spaces. I don't know how this is a thing. I don't understand this. It's one of the problems I think, you have when do I have a choice? Like I drive to places that are much further than in the city, because I'm very close to the city, but I will drive 15, 20 minutes to another location because they have a big parking lot. Because I just don't want to mess with no parking. I just feel like this is so dumb. I mean, I love the Target downtown. If I would go to that Target downtown all the time, except I don't want to mess with that whole parking thing. It's just BS.
It's funny, when we go to Molly Moon's, I will go out of my way to not go to the Capitol Hill one, but go to the one in Wallingford because it's easier to find a parking spot.
Oh, dude, Capitol Hill is a
crazy.
Mess.
Yeah,
it's a great part of town, but you're right. If you have a vehicle, it's a mess. I mean, that's when I wish that's why I can't wait for light rail, though I have no idea if it's going to affect Capitol Hill. Probably not, because it's a mess. You're just like
there's way more people walking around and nobody's paying attention to like crosswalks. It's just like a free for all.
Oh, yeah, it's a beating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So driving in snow is number 1, and getting passed by big trucks or threading the needles number 6. How about you? Well, Vicky, I guess everybody sort of weighed in. Yeah.
I've always been scared, and I don't know if this is necessarily a stress, but I've always been scared of falling asleep at the wheel.
Oh, I have.
Yeah,
I woke up going through a stop sign.
Oh my gosh,
it was terrible.
I've never done it, but just because of our jobs, a lot of times, we wake up super early, and driving home, I feel tired, and I've had like a reoccurring nightmare that I'm like, I just can't stop my vehicle.
I went through a stop sign and ended up in a ditch.
Oh my gosh!
And then the cop came out. I was able to get out of it. Like it was a small ditch, so I was able to get out of it. But it was still. I woke up and I was shaking, and then a cop showed up, made sure I was okay. made sure I wasn't drunk, and I explained what was going on. And he was just like, well, I could give you a ticket. He was so cool. He's like, I could give you a ticket, but I feel like you learned a really valuable lesson without me even having to give you a ticket. I'm like, you bet your ass I did. Like, that was that was back when I had that station wagon. I was like, that thing is a tank. It went through that stop sign. Like, it was insane, dude.
Wow.
The fact that I was okay after that. I mean, I wasn't going like 60. It was
So you mean you went through the sign itself?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you just blew
I
through a
woke
stop
up
sign.
to seeing the stop sign flying over my car.
Wow.
It was terrible.
That's amazing
really
you
surprised
survived that.
you
Yeah.
didn't get a ticket.
Barely
Damn.
a dent on the station wagon. That thing was a beast. But yeah, the
Damn,
cop
dude.
couldn't be cooler.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and after that, I was like that was like the one time. Like, now, if I'm super sleepy, there's not a chance. I mean, I was young and dumb. Like, I was just like, oh, I could stay up late and then still go to work. I was dating somebody that lived like really far from me, and I was like trying to do everything. You know what I mean? And that was a wake up call. I mean,
How eerily
pun
similar.
intended. That was a wake up call.
Oh yeah, I get it.
I was-
How eerily similar, because it was over a girl. Because I had the same thing happen to me, where I was dating my wife. It was our first date, and I was up way too late, and it was probably 3-4 in the morning that I was driving home, and I had work that day and everything, and I hit another car. I woke up, and next thing I know, I'm like, wow, I'm running into another car.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was. Luckily, everybody was okay, and there were no vehicles on the roadway. But I did get a concussion, though I don't think I knew I had a concussion at the time. But it was nuts. It's so weird to wake up and go, what the F?
Mm-hmm.
I've hit a few curbs that have woken me up. Luckily, they were curbs and not cars. But I always get comments, like even to this day, like I have a few little scrapes on my tires or my wheels. So when I have to go get a wheel rotation or a new tire, they always comment like, "Your tires are really messed up." I'm like,
Yeah, I'm a bad driver.
Sorry about that.
I'm like, I'm a bad driver. I'm not sleeping.
I like to sleep when I drive. What's wrong with you, pal?
And
Come
then
on.
obviously Dad's always like, "There's a new scuff on your wheel." I'm like, it was a long day. I'm sorry. Dads always point that out.
Yep,
That's what dads are here for.
Yeah, it's like, thanks, Dad.
One Texas says, I'm always afraid that my brakes will fail.
Oh, wow.
I had that happen once.
These are...
Steve, what are you doing?
I was going to
that
say, these are
station
things that
wagon.
really won't happen, but then again, here's Steve.
I was going down Denny Hill, and all of a sudden I hit the brakes, and like all of a sudden, and it was like I must have been just grinding metal.
Yeah.
At that point, I was broke.
Yeah.
So you kept like, oh, I'll put it off, and then all of a sudden, luckily I just was able to keep going to the point where like I could just pull off to the side and slow. The car slowed itself down, but for if that light was red when I was going down, because I was just trying to slow down, and all of a sudden it just gave out, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. And thankfully nothing. Nobody got hurt.
Damn.
Now, if I even hear like a little squeak on my brakes, I freak out. I'm like, it's time to get new brakes.
Oh, yeah. Damn, dude. Boy, the gods were shining on both of us.
Yeah.
That's for sure, because easily that could have been a lot worse in all those situations.
That damn station wagon really was a death trap. I keep talking about how it was like a tank, but so many bad things happen in that thing.
Yeah.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's another listener question. How do I rebuild my credit after filing bankruptcy?
You rebuild it, one creditor at a time by making your payments on time on your rent or your mortgage, by continuing to make car payments on a car that you keep during your case. You can also, as I said, you can almost always get a credit card almost immediately after filing bankruptcy. Sometimes it's a secured card, and it'll almost always have a really high interest rate on it. But you could get a small balance credit card and charge you a tank of gas or a dinner once a month on that, and make the payment, pay it off every month, and that'll help you build a credit history one creditor at a time, and will help you rebuild your credit over time.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
For tank and tankless hot water heaters, for clogged drains, for leaky faucets, for toilets that won't flush. Stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical is your trusted source to solve all your plumbing needs. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
Your home equity. It could be an untapped opportunity instead of an untouchable asset. Introducing HomeTap. HomeTap is an investor, not a lender. They give you cash in exchange for a share of your home's future value. Use it to pay off debt, make renovations, fund a business, or just live a better life. There's no interest or monthly payments to worry about. HomeTap. Get more from home ownership. Get more from life. Subject to eligibility. Terms and conditions apply. Visit HomeTap.com to apply in minutes. That's HomeTap.com.